What's that? Oh yeah, I sound like a Nautilus. Oops.
Well, I'm into the spectated game. 10 seconds in, apparently. So I haven't even missed anything. And let's see how we're doing skin. So we've got Hot Rod Corky on Yellow Pete. Top lane, Jaximus. He wants to be... what was the Russell Crowe character from Gladiator? No, I'm Spartacus. What was the other one? I can't remember. Either way.
I have no idea. Well, the movie's Gladiator. I just have no idea what it's like. It's the Gladiator guy.
Yeah, that dude. So to everybody that's joining us, grand final, game number 3. Gamehopper has already taken a game off of CLG. And now we've got to see whether or not they can close it out.
I think they can. I think both teams have the potential to win. Check out that ward from Gamehopper up in the river. That's a very specific ward. That's a, you want to gank us top ward. Screw you.
Yeah. Do you think it's a little bit early, though? I mean, that's gone down 40 seconds, at the 40-second mark, so it's around about the 340 that it's going to be wearing off.
I like it. Well, just actually look at the jungle for Gamehopper. They have both entrances covered in the top. So there is no way that we can see any sort of aggressive play happen towards Jolicious. I think that's what they want. I think they want to make sure Jolicious... I think Jolicious might actually be Kennen. I do not know, especially because it is funky AD Kennen. And
Jolicious won his lane last time around, so let's see how he's spec'd out at the moment. 71 attack damage, 0.7 attack speed. I don't know... No, well, 0.66 attack speed, rather. 10% armor pen, so he's got some quints in there at least, or similar. I'm very excited to see how that works.
How quickly can he get the Phage and Hextech?
Yeah, well, what's he going to build? I mean, is he going to go old school Jax? Is he going to go new school with maybe the Wits End into Trinity Force?
I see a lot of Hextech Cutlass on him, and eventually Gunblade. But it's usually Phage into Cutlass is what I see quite often. And it's good. You do a lot of damage. Jax does so much damage. That's the cool thing about Jax.
Jax is also one of those champions that if he starts to snowball, I would say it's even scarier than that of an Aurelia. Because he can deal so much sustained damage and become so difficult to kill. So, we'll have to see how that works out. Olaf is now picking up the blue buff.
It's important to watch him too, because you'll see him... What he's going to want to do at level 6 is get his ult charged up on minions and then jump on someone.
Look at the harass that he's taking now from Wicked. Until he gets some items or until he gets some form of sustain, it's going to be very, very difficult to keep up that hit points and keep up effective farming in that bottom lane. Top lane. Middle's going to be very interesting as well, because how is, an attack damage type of Froggen, at least at these lower levels, going to face off against Ryslin? Rise, the ability to get that movement speed and lock somebody with the Rune Prison, he's still going to be in range of Bioarcane Barrage.
Mm-hmm. So all mobility in the world doesn't matter if he's still hitting you. Pings are out onto the mid lane, though, from Gamehopper.
Oh, I
just really want to see these lanes. These are cool lanes.
I'm so nervous for Gamehopper. I feel like, this is they're taking a map off CLG already. And now they're in the grand final. It's just totally awesome. So fairly passive.
It's like the ballsiest of ballsy compositions.
Yeah, it is
from both teams.
It is very interesting. But you know what? You're all in. I mean, you either win and take home the money, or you lose and you qualify for the monthly final anyway. So there's nothing really. Well, I mean, there's $200 to lose, which is decent cash.
Yeah, that's some nice zeros right there.
It's burgers, of course.
It's 40 burgers, man.
Which I'm not going to get. 1:45 a.m. I'm going to have to wait till 4 a.m. for trains, I think. Maybe. So, 0-0, 5,200 gold across the board. We've seen a recall from Kennen already. Let's see what Wicked has decided to pick up. He's gone for that Amplifying Tome. I think he wants to use the range and the ability power to his advantage. And we've got Snoopy now coming down to a very, very aggressive bottom lane. Mr. Rolls and Fumus, they are falling back. Just that game sense, just that knowing, hang on a second, we've been here too long. Something doesn't feel right.
The wards help too, but it's actually just a good reaction.
Yeah.
Just good reaction time, being able to just move back so quickly. Because you wait a couple more seconds, or even just 1 second, that'd be enough for Snoopy to get an axe off. Maybe not get a kill, but blow a flash.
And there goes a brilliant headbutt pulverized. Massive damage going down into Mr. Roll's Gatling cannon ticking away. That's completely ruining his armor. And really good damage there from Corky Alistair. And of course, they're going to be able to heal that back up. Janna's not going to be able to heal that damage on Mr. Rolls, especially once his potions run out.
Right now is the time for Yellow Pete and Cripple just to not stop the aggression.
Yeah. They've got an early game advantage with those champions, so don't let Graves get the ability to get any attack damage and be able to burst you down.
Because once Graves hits 6, it's a different game. It's a different game entirely because we now have that 6 skill coming into play.
We also have now...
Top lane Mundo's.
Yeah, Mundo has moved up. I'm not going to commit to this one, though. Too close to the turret. Not enough levels.
Snoop Egg chills mid lane for a second. Gets a nice little bit of a reckless swinging off on Raceland.
As I say that, Broto is sitting there. The stun comes up from Joe Alicious, so he's fairly a little bit lower on mana. Should have enough for at least 1 or 2 combos. Broto finally deciding, not sure. He wanted to leave, he wanted to stay. He wanted to leave, he wanted to stay. Now he's coming river. Both champions about to ding level 6. Kennen very, very close to it.
He has Walk by Ward, though. Kennen's going to be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Might actually be able to punish Joe Licious, actually, because now he has no mana.
Yeah, that was the wasted counter-attack. Not being able to land that stun. And Jax, of course, only with 3 fingers. Not going to be able to throw any rude gestures there to a running away Kennen.
There's still a middle finger.
Touche, touche. It's framed now, actually. I'd forgotten about that. Oh, sorry. Lost control of my mouse for a second. And look at that, though. 600 gold, 500 gold advantage. In 5 minutes, the mechanical skills, the last hitting abilities of CLG are just absolutely brilliant.
And this is all just mid, top, and jungle?
Yep.
Yep, jungle.
Just the lanes.
Well, no, jungle's about equal.
It's just those small gaps. It really, it pays off at the end. It really works on all the way through the game. You get those
The 20 CS difference is that 500 gold difference right now. And that's what the CS difference is.
I mean, that's enough. That at this point in the game, that's the difference between getting your Phage at 7 minutes and getting your Phage at 9 minutes. Or Hextech Revolver and Rise managing to catch Frog in there, using his Rune Prison, getting a brilliant Spell Flux and landing the Overloads. Rastin is now trying to run away. Snoopy not willing to commit longer, not knowing that the bottom lane was missing. And now they're wondering, are they going to take blue buff? They're going to go for blue buff. Snoopy's now alone, and with 4 of the enemy team sitting there, so those red faces are surely going to give him something to think about.
They can just go ahead and drag Golem into the bush. There is no chance of a smite. Still, maybe a cool axe steal, actually.
That would be
bad.
Not enough time, unfortunately.
No, Broto and Plume has taken a ton of damage from it.
Yeah. Look at Kennen's build, opting not to go for the Revolver first, but he actually wanted to pick up the Chain Vest. So, instead of finishing his Revolver off, going the Chain Vest, that'll at least mitigate some of the auto-attack damage from Jax. 42 CS to 60. You can just see what a difference it is having that range champion against a melee champion.
Especially Kennen, just because he has high range, he has high damage. Kennen, just a fantastic AD carry just through base stats, actually. And Joe Lish is going to have so much trouble actually dealing with this.
Yeah. 4 points into Empower, 1 point into counterattack. So we can assume that he's going to probably start leveling up his Leap Strike next. That would be my way to do it anyway. Just increase that burst damage. Yeah. I don't know how Counter Strike scales now. It doesn't increase the stun duration, does it?
No.
Yeah. So it's probably the best way to do it. Tear of the Goddess already on Mr. Cogmore in this middle lane. Of course, he's going to need as much mana as possible so he can keep tossing out those Chinese fireworks, also known as living artillery.
Lion Dance Cogma is possibly one of the coolest skins in the game, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, I never feel unhappy seeing it.
I do feel unhappy hearing it. I get a bit frustrated sometimes. The amount of firework noises, See what I mean?
I'm not helping.
No, it's pretty cool. And they go, there's the fireworks coming off. Did you know that the singular for fireworks is firework? And the reason you've never heard it is no one makes a firework in singular. That's just too sad. Bit of unknown knowledge for that. Joe Alish is trying to put pressure down onto Wicked, but Wicked managing to get out of the range of the stun, just with compliments of that lightning strike.
Actually, no, really quickly, you've never been to American 4th of July because, man, we have a lot of single fireworks and we'd love to hold them in our hands.
Okay, well, there we go. So, Americans have single fireworks. We get the bulk products.
You get the actual fireworks. Not the ones drunkenly tossed on the ground.
Well, sitting at this top lane,
I love 4th of July.
Broto once again showing his face, chilling in the grass, having a look at the scenery, and then deciding, you know what, I'm not actually interested in this, and falling back.
Those are very nice bushes, though, so I can understand that.
So nothing coming of it just yet. Snoopy showed his face a little bit, but no real pressure, no real ganks coming out from either jungler. And look at the damage onto that Mr. Riles. The Phosphorus Bomb hits so hard at low levels, 230 magic damage. And even with True Grip passive from Mr. Riles, it's not enough to mitigate that burst.
And you look at Mr. Riles' runes, he doesn't actually run MR runes, so he has no real defense for Phosphorus Bomb.
Once Yellow Pete starts landing a few more of those missile barrages and the big ones, it's really going to hit even harder. So, back in the middle lane now, Broto hanging around, opting not to do anything. They do have a ward viz coming up behind the Cogmore. Ryze is going to need to move forward, activate that speed buff. The slow comes out, red buff is active as well, and Rustin just too slow to react. I don't know if...
And this is an old style game that we've seen all day. What happens? A lot of passive laning, and who wins? CLG.
And at the minute, Joelish is trying to put some damage down, but not having any way to really keep Kennen in place. He can stun him, but it's a fairly short duration, and Kennen's just going to be able to lightning rush away. That mid lane was a little bit frustrating for me because it was so clear Mundo was setting up and waiting for a gank, and I mean, I believe he even pinged it as well. And all Ryze would have needed to do would have to activate his ultimate, run in there and land a Rune Prism, and they would have probably been able to blow him up, because Rune Prism plus that Spell Flux and a couple of overloads, it's going to blow up a fairly squishy Cogmore. Now, while I'm saying that, Summoner Heal blown on the bottom as well as Monsoon from Flumis, all of that used to save Mr. Riles, and a brilliant Crepo pulverized headbutt combo. Just completely
Don't
locks up
forget
Grave.
one thing about Froggen in the mid lane. Check his Summoner.
Froggen is busy rocking... Ah, Flash Cleanse. So even if he had been snared, he would have been able to cleanse away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Froggen trying out the unorthodox builds.
The cleanse is actually not that rare on AP mid-mall. I like saying that quite a bit. But you want to run cleanses because, in general, once you get past early laning, you're never going to be in range for Ignite. So you just want to run something safe, something that will either protect you. It's kind of the same thing with Xerath, actually. You can run Teleport on him, and it's quite effective.
Very, very true. I suck with Xerath. I just don't have the timing right. I can't get the timing right.
He's not an easy character to play. Very few good Xerath players, actually.
Well, after the little bit of taunting from Joe Licious, ooh, excuse me, he's actually a little bit behind in CS in this top lane, which is, of course, to be expected. A melee against a range. He's finished off his Mercury trades and gone double Dorans. How much gold does he have banked up? 468, so I'm very interested to see what he builds next.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a Vamp Scepter just to help him sustain the Kennen damage. At the same time, he could go straight for a Fade, pick up a Ruby Crystal or a Longsword. And is Kennen going mid for a Dragon play?
It looks like it. Wicked's done that several times today already, especially in the very the match previous to this one. Would leave his lane several times to just make sure they've really got that lockdown on the Dragon buff.
There's actually a blue play, it seems. And right now, that Kennen's going to be so much more effective in a team fight than Jax. It's Jax ult versus Kennen ult, for example. Doesn't really match up in this. Counter-Strike is not the same.
Unless Jax gets an absolutely picture-perfect counter-attack and stuns up 3 or 4 people. And then they can blow somebody up. I completely agree with you. So they pulled this blue back as far as it'll as it will go. And it just gets reset. So much tension from both sides. Neither one willing to commit just yet. But look at the damage Joe Licious has taken from that Cogmore. Before the fight has even started, that poke is just so powerful. And the poke that's going to be coming out from Corki and from Cogmore.
For whatever reason, Joe Licious was really committed to going through the little path just underneath his mid tower to get towards that blue buff. So going through it, you had to go through an Olaf and a Cogmore. Lots of damage just from that combination. Axes and spit and artillery galore.
Yeah, it's just non-stop poke, non-stop harass. So first Dragon does go the way of CLG. Corki's already finished his Phage and Berserker's Greaves. Once again, bang on even for farm in that bottom lane. Mr. Riles really doing well to farm. All 3 games completely keeping up with Yellow Pete.
And once again, we're seeing Snoopit doing his old style. He will, try and do something of opportunity, but he's not exactly trying to gank her. He's just farming a lot. He already has 2 GP card items. He's fine just playing a farm game.
working their ways into this game. First tower goes down completely uncontested. Not so much as, do you mind? That's our turret from Gamehopper. And I don't know, we're not seeing the same aggression from them this time around. We're not seeing that same commitment in their playstyle.
I don't feel they're confident on the characters they chose. And
Yeah.
they're getting punished for it.
I think that's a good analysis. I mean, that's now potentially the second turret going down. They might be able to pick up the top turret. We'll have to see how much damage Jax can put down onto it. Decent damage onto the bottom lane as well, but just a 3-man CLG casually strolling through your base. All your base all belong to us.
Really?
Come on!
Jokes, man,
Come on!
Come on! Alright. But moving on to the...
Mr. Rolls almost being able to 1v1 Yellow Pete, popping out the collateral damage. I think it actually missed though. I don't think it landed. Yellow Pete using his summoner heal, just making sure he survived.
Now,
2,800
these
gold.
compositions though. What was really scary was the laning. And the problem is, this actually will transfer a bit into the early team fights. Compare Kennen ult to Jax as a whole. Kennen will be effective now. Jax, well, he can stun and he can do something, but he can't do a lot. He's actually going for a cutlass, by the way. Second, he has that pickaxe. And it's kind of the same thing with Ryze. Ryze gets scary eventually, but the way CLG is fighting, they're going into poke fights first. They're not letting a hard initiate happen. So Ryze just gonna, he can do a lot of damage now. He can be quite effective, but for the fights that CLG will let happen, he's gonna be pretty much worthless. And this is just kind of how the composition goes. There's gonna be so much poke, so much just ranged harass coming in. Because everybody except Prepo can do some ranged harass to Gamehoppers. So there's just so much of that coming out that they're not going to be able to deal with. They just have no sustain, no hard engage.
And the thing that
except for maybe a flash jump.
Yeah. And it's all going to be on Jax. If he picks the wrong time and the wrong target to jump, land the counterattack, that's it. He's just going to get blown up. I mean, if Jax can take a lot of damage and he can survive for a decent chunk of time. But in and amongst all of the damage that's going to be coming out from Corki, Kennen, and Olaf, not to mention the AP Cogmore, that's going to be it. So there's the counterattack coming in. Dr. Mundo moving forward. Exhaust goes up, followed by the flash from Wicked now. Off the ultimate, slicing Maelstrom. They might be able to stun them under the turret. Another brilliant leap strike from Jax. First blood does come out, and they mitigate the turret damage as well. A really great commitment. I didn't actually think they were going to be able to pick that up, but they just stuck to Kennen. Did not let him go. Cleaver after cleaver.
Getting the hell out of there, a great call, because as you can see, Snoopet and Froggen are not going to let them get out with some free farm top. And I like that. I like that play. That's Jax's strength right there. He jumps on you. If he has any sort of slow, which he will soon, he has the cutlass, so he does have a slow now.
Yep.
If he slows you, you are stuck. You are going to get stunned. You're going to have trouble getting away from him. He can keep auto attacking and do his damage.
Combine that with the cleavers and the red buff on Dr. Mundo, and it's very, very difficult to get away from that damage.
Nothing Wicked could have done there. He did what he could have, actually. He surged, he ulted, he did everything he could have done, and it wasn't enough.
I mean, it was a very, very good flash just to get out of range of Mundo first. And when he got within range of his own tower, then he threw up the Slicing Maelstrom. And it just wasn't enough, unfortunately. So 0-1. The game... I keep forgetting their name. Gamehoppers. That's right? Myrmidon.
Gamehoppers, yep.
Yeah, Gamehoppers managed to pick up first blood. Gold still in advantage of CLG, though, and significantly at this stage. 3,000 lead.
Look, Jax does have a nice little one-up that he is on equal gold with Kennen. But that's about their only advantage right now. Kagama has 18 more CS than Ryze, and comparing bot lane, they're actually pretty equal. So a lot of this is just... it's partially the jungle, partially the global gold, and partially Jax.
Well, there's the gold grab just for a second. I'm throwing that up for everybody to keep an eye on.
Weird how they have so much more gold. No Dragon's one of them.
Well, yeah, that's 1,000, so it's 2,500 gold just from farm. We've got huge pressure on this bottom lane. Exhaust goes out into Corki. Monsoon forced to push them back. I don't quite know what Flumus was thinking with that Monsoon. All it would have done is
try to push Prepo back into the tower.
Yeah, but it was never going to reach, and all it would have done is actually put, well, maybe. I was thinking about that. If Yellow Pete had been a touch to the right, he would have been in range of a few more auto attacks for Graves, and it may have been enough to pick up a kill.
Maybe. It was an interesting positional play. Really hard to actually pull that out with Janna, so... I mean, I give him credit. It sucks that it didn't work, so that's unfortunate. Oh, the mid tower's gone. That's why they have such a good advantage.
Yeah,
only
that is true as well.
advantage right now for CLG, so that number is falling.
slowly
good.
going
That's good for
backwards.
Gamehoppers. They need that gap to close. They have a really good late game, but so does CLG.
Well, with that kill that they managed to pick up on Kennen on the top lane, Jax is now on par with Farm to Kennen.
Jax is getting scary.
Well, he's starting to work it up. How much gold does he have banked up? 1,000 gold. So, probably going to work towards the Hextech Revolver as his next item. A couple hundred gold required. But look at the damage from Froggen. I mean, not even in fear of being, leaped on or anything similar, and just chunks down half of Jax's hit points.
And because of that, Dragon's up. Jax is at half HP.
Yeah.
Well, 3/4 actually. He did heal quite a bit from Rice, and CLG knows this, but they're still going to go for Dragon. And I don't think Gamehopper can really contest this too well.
No, nor do
But
I.
I think they're going to try.
Another very good living artillery. There's the Bio-Arcane Barrage as well. The ability power that he already has, chunking of 7% of the target's hit points with every single attack. Riceland is now up to flash over the wall. That was just to get away from the Voidoos, get away from that slow and potentially any burst damage, and a free dragon for CLG. CLG's dragon control has been incredible this evening. Their timing has been spot on.
Dragon.
Yeah.
It's not that they're at Dragon, it's that they're at Dragon and they're at the routes you want to go to get to Dragon. And they have a great job of actually splitting up the bot lane from the rest of the team. Because moving as 5, for example, Froggen as Kog'Maw is in a scary position all of a sudden. But you're moving as one Rise going from mid lane, just trying to hover around Dragon, because you have that vision there. All of a sudden there's a Kog'Maw hitting you, and what can you do? Not much.
Yeah.
That's what makes them cool. They're not just in position, they're in position of where you want to go.
So bottom lane, Graves has already got his BF sword and the pickaxe finished. Corki working towards the Trinity Force will be very, very close at this point in time. Zeal, Phage, and Sheen already built, so that'll be almost done. Yellow Pete just chilling for a little bit. Headbutt Pulverized combo coming out. The first rocket does miss on Mr. Rolls. Exhaust blown as well. Now Scumbag Krepos is tanking the turret along with his Unbreakable Will. Going to deal a lot of damage, but the Monsoon from Janna throws Corki backwards. And just completely cancels that initiation.
But unfortunately, Mr. Riley is going to be very cautious here because he could die. They could dive him right now.
And we got a flash from Alistair. He's moving forward. Now you got Corki pushing forward. Yellow Pete does pick up 1 kill. Collateral damage is going to deal enough damage that 1 overload from Rise will pick up the kill. The exhaust goes down to Yellow Pete. He's taking the cleaver to the back. Red buff is ticking away. Can Rise get the Rune Prison? He does land the Rune Prison. And the Burning Agony and red buff is going to be enough to pick up another kill. Gamehoppers.
Oh, wait, actually, you don't have chat.
No.
Check items. Check Graves and Corky's items.
Graves, Infinity Edge finished in comparison to the Trinity Force and Double Dorans.
They're equal.
Yep,
Well, Corky's
spot
a little
on.
farther ahead.
Jax has now been caught up in this top lane. He popped his flash to try run away. And let's see whether or not anything's going to be able to happen. He's juking a little bit. He's anticipating the undertow. Didn't actually manage to dodge one of them. Throws the stun up, and now he's running straight into a Kog'Maw. There's nothing you can do. He manages to leap strike over to Kennen. But that was just waiting for the inevitable. His death had been predicted.
Jax's move speed was at about 1. He was not getting out of there.
Yeah, there was nothing you could do there.
Undertow, Kog'Maw slow. Kog'Maw slow is ridiculously good, by the way. That is a
52%. Yeah, for 4 seconds. Now that lost.
If you want to nerf Kog'Maw, nerf it slow.
And that lasts even if you walk off the slow, unless I'm mistaken. So
it is a slow that will last a little bit after you get
Alright.
off it. Not too long, not like a full 4 seconds, but long enough where it's pain and you do not catch up or get away.
Yep, very, very true. So still huge number of viewers, guys. CLG facing off against Gamehoppers. Grand final, game 3 of the very first Play for Fame qualifier. What do you think? 25 minutes in, IRC, who's going to win? Is CLG still the favorite?
Gunblade, purchased by Jax. So Delicious has Gunblade, and Olaf has Frozen Mount. They're actually very equal in a lot of ways in terms of farm. Like, it's a 3,000 gold advantage for CLG, but it's not a huge advantage. It's not like there's an Infinity Edge over Corki, or on Corki over Graves, for example.
Yeah, very true. And is Corki looking like he's going to build a Brutalizer?
Would be interesting. I think I could understand it if he doesn't want to go for a Last Whisper, if he wants to try and end the game a little sooner. Just go ahead, pick up the Brutalizer, and just have a massive amount of armor.
Please look at Rise's build. He has just opted to build another Rod of Ages.
That is a totally fine build with the new changes to his AP scaling. So he gets damage from mana and AP now.
Yes.
So before he had a static item build where you built a lot of mana items. Now he has a static item build where you build a lot of Rod of Ages. And then eventually you might build a Frozen Heart and Buddha.
Wow, well that's the first time that I've seen this happening. Obviously the passive only stacks once, correct?
Oh no, the Rod of Ages passive? No,
Yes.
each one will scale up.
Ooh, I'm not sure about that. I'm fairly certain.
Check.
Oh yeah,
check
you
for
are
individual
right.
ones.
Yeah, you are right. It's the unique passive is the bonus on leveling up.
Yep.
Wow, so he's
Which
just going to
actually
stay.
did not be unique, which was really fun back in the day.
Wow, okay, well that's going to be pretty intense. I've never seen this before, so this is a pretty cool one for me. And we'll have to see how this converts for us then as we start moving further and further into the game. Second Rod of Ages is already starting to tick up. Sitting on 2,800 hit points and 2,600 mana.
No, he actually hits for about 280 right now with every overload. And that number is just going to go much, much higher.
And keep in mind, that's a 2-second cooldown with his passive. If he throws Overload, Spell Flux, Overload, Rune Prison, Overload, that's a 1-second cooldown.
Yep. Oh, one thing to watch out for, by the way. He has a lot of HP, right? But there's an AP Kog'Maw.
Yeah, there is. That's a very, very good point. That Bioarcane Barrage from Kog'Maw currently ticking off 8% of the target's hit points with every single blow. That's going to hit Dr. Mundo hard. That's going to hit Jax hard. That's going to hit Rise hard. Well, it depends on what Jax
Unfortunately, the only
does.
person you get a lot of mitigation on that case is Jax, as Wrestling is just dodging everything. And actually not dodging all that much in the end.
Yeah, it looked good at the start, but just managed to pick up a few extra bits of damage there in the end. And this Kog'Maw Rod of Ages completed. The Archangel Staff completed as well as his Rylai's. So that's going to just help him, once he hits one of his abilities, to just continually land those living artilleries. And Jack's picking up the red buff now, so that on hit, as well as this active slow from Hextech's Gunblade. And he's just going to stick on you all day long.
Control items coming out right now. The Rylai's, the Gunblade, the Zonia's actually just items that make it so it's hard for the enemy to do something. And I love items like that. Whether it's a bonus to yourself or a debuff to the enemy.
And there's something we haven't considered yet as well. When you look at the entire lineup of Gamehoppers, the passive from Janna gives everybody, a 3% movement speed boost. Add that with the fact that Rise gets a movement speed with his ultimate, Mundo gets a movement speed increase with his ultimate. You've got the Leap Strike from Jax. You've got a very mobile team here from Gamehoppers.
That front line is going to move around so much. That's what they need to do. They need to get to those important targets. In this case, it's going to be Corki and Kog'Maw. Kedin will do quite a bit of damage, but he's going to be in front of you trying to deal damage.
The Dragon looks like it wants to be pulled up by Gamehoppers. And we see, once again, one of our all too familiar little stalemates. Jaximus Maximus, a brilliant headbutt combo, managing to pick up 2 huge damage going down onto Rise. He almost gets obliterated there in the fight, but does get out of range. Slicing Maelstrom dealing massive damage there. Janna and Mundo just completely melted and destroyed. Jax is the next target now. He's not going to be able to get away. And hello CLG. What more can you say?
They fought into. That was just the perfect place. They had to fight through Kog'Maw slow. They had to fight through just everything CLG had to get to anybody important. Jax leap strike over a wall. That was good. That was a good leap strike. He got somebody important. But in doing so, he was cut off from the rest of his team. And they had to just filter the tiny, narrow gap to get anywhere, to do anything.
Yep.
And just, the CC was just positioned perfectly. We had slows coming out from Snoop, from actually Yellow Pete with his Phage on the Triforce. All of this fight control.
The ability to
Gamehoppers
kite.
just walked into it.
Yeah, the ability to kite and run around and move, which is their biggest advantage at the moment, was completely removed in that narrow corridor.
And the funny thing is, it's not like they could even escape the situation once they were in. There's just so much high slow coming out from CLG. They just have really strong slows on everything.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And what a great initiation from Crepo again. Once again, just so strong with those support carries, or characters. You know, they put the damage onto Rise, and Ryslin thought, I'm going to die. They've committed they're going to blow me up. And he popped this flash defensively. So he left the fight and had to come back into it, allowing the rest of CLG to put even more damage on the rest of his team.
And this is a scary position, because you know what? The teamfight potential with a Kennen is high. We're going to see CLG just get better and better in team fights. The composition from Gamehoppers is more assassin-y. We have Jax who will jump in and try and kill someone before he dies himself. We have Bundo who's just going to rush at people. And we have a lot of assassin-styles characters on Gamehoppers, and if you're behind as an assassin, killing gets so much harder.
Yep.
In this case, I don't know if I think they might just be out with that.
9,000 gold difference. 9,000 gold now. Now it's really starting to show. Now it becomes relevant and important.
Well, we're going to see CLG just start moving across the map. They're going to take out these towers. In this case, they've taken out bot. They should get at least one more outer, probably both of the outer turrets that they have remaining in this Baron span. And the pressure is going to be high. The gold difference will be over 10,000. It's going to be really difficult to deal with.
Looks like Rasta now moving down towards Corky. Snoopy is going to come up from behind him, so we saw whether they decide to commit. There's the Shirley's Reverie. Undertow landed as well. A brilliant ultimate there from Wicked. Managing to catch all three of them, and now that's the next one down. A little bit of a missed time on that head, but it does get closed up by the massive range from Froggen. And Snoopy wants more. Snoopy's just had enough of this. This is CLG saying, you know what? This is our game. This is how we play, and just completely in control. Even playing a non-standard AP character, Froggen is still 303. Still completely farming like a monster.
And that last fight, it's not that they were even. It wasn't even a team fight. It was just people getting caught.
Yeah, being out of position, not having wards.
And unfortunately, this is the exact opposite of the last game. They could get to Tristana. They could get to the squishies. Right now, they can't. There's no way they're going to get to Kog'Maw. There's no way they can come even close to damaging who they want to damage. This is game, actually. They won't finish the game here, most likely, but they're going to set up very quickly to do so.
Well, you can definitely see CLG on a bit of a mission this time round. Everything about their gameplay just yells, alright, be patient till we got our items, and that's it. Now let's ride this home. Corky as well, very interestingly, going Brutalizer than BF Sword. So I think
they just want to pressure down this mid game. Just like, you know what, we don't want you guys even close to late game. Because you guys do have good late game. Screw it, die. Die now.
Yeah. And it's the right thing to do. Definitely the right thing to do. I want to see how Rise is shaping up. 3,100 hit points, 2,800 mana.
And those hit points don't matter much against Kog'Maw, sadly.
Once again, look at that now. CLG play by numbers. They've taken 2 inhibitors down, 2 Nexus turrets. They've taken every single outer turret down, except for now this top inhibitor one. And it just sounds like Chinese New Year. All you're hearing over and over and over is all this fireworks. And look at the damage coming down onto Rise. One Void Ooze, he can't get off it. There's no flash available, or it even was available. Don't know why I didn't use that there.
I don't think he expected the damage.
Yeah, just completely burst. And now Kennen jumping in there. And look at how high Jax just gets bounced. Knocked up over and over. It's now going to be another inhibitor going down. Corky's just pushing forward. Kennen moving forward as well. This looks like it's game to me. You got super creeps coming in from the middle lane. Super creeps coming in from the bottom lane.
This is game. Tip from a friend. Wicked is trash talking.
Ooh.
And Kog'Maw.
Well, you know what?
Don't lose twice in a final tip from a few Wicked.
Considering a little bit of trash talk coming out in the beginning game. Well deserved. CLG really playing fantastically. Really showing why they are one of the best teams in Europe. But fair play to Gamehoppers. They actually took a map off CLG, so that's no mean feat.
Last game, very well played by Gamehoppers. In this game, well, CLG ran a different composition. They ran a poke-based composition, and the answer